Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode. Today we're talking about Monster Infinite and the money heist that occurred. This was a quick buying and selling before the pre-sale was meant to be launched, 10 minutes before, and there's a brilliant article that goes through this in detail, explains what exactly happened, what do we know, the facts, the evidence behind it, because there was a lot of fear around, the devs bought this and sold this. My first assumption was, nah, I've done my research on this project. I'm an ambassador for it. This doesn't look like a scam project, and so my assumption was that it wasn't a dev account. It was just a bot from somebody trying to make a quick buy off either an exploit, or that there was some reason behind this that wasn't a bad didn't shine a bad light on Monster Infinite. And this article explains what exactly happened, so you guys can be aware of it. Because I think it's something we need to know going forward if we're going to have confidence in this project. Before we get into today's video though, we're going to take a look at a quick ad from Gold Inc. Take a look at the project, see if it's something you might be interested in. Links are down in the description below for it.
Mine real gold and build a real business in the world's most expansive mobile MMO. Gold Inc. allows you to grow your real world net worth while building a realistic mining empire. Own finite land with real world value. Ally with friends and rule over 10,000 players via the open world government system. Find and own claims worth as much as $10 million. At any one point, someone can prospect a claim with as much as $10 million in gold on it and own that claim. Currency in the game grows in value every day. The NFT capabilities mean that you can own the assets that you hold, and you can sell them on the market at any time. This will help GXP circulate and give players the opportunity to have unique, strong in-game items. As the Gold Inc. player base grows, competitiveness of finding actual gold will go up, and this will make items become more rare, harder to acquire, and ultimately encourage players to also buy GXP off exchanges to create more demand. Use the referral code down below to get in-game offers. Gold Inc. available now on Android and iOS devices.
So it was this spike that caused the controversy around Monster Infinite. A giant spike when the token went live. Now the token went live on PancakeSwap apparently 10 minutes before it was meant to do. And this generally things tend to go live later than they're actually scheduled to. But what happened was there was a giant buying and then selling off of assets, which one wallet address apparently made $2 million in that process. My alarm bells weren't raised by this because I'm so used to seeing this spike. I never buy anything during this period, nor should you, because bots will always be faster than you at putting a transaction through. They might use bigger amounts, which will give them priority. So stay away from the very first, 10 minutes at least, or, hour after a token has launched. There will be a rise and then there's a dip usually. The dip is the time to buy, but knowing when that is easy in hindsight, harder when done in the moment. But this is so common. I wasn't alarmed by this because look, THG, Thetan Gem, giant spike in price on launch. Go to things like Faraland, a reputable token. Launch, giant spike in price, up higher than it ever has reached. Let's do it. Ooh, on par with the all-time high. So this isn't unusual. Why? Because if ever there's money to be made, somebody who knows how to use a bot, somebody who knows how to snipe, will take advantage of this because there's quick money to be made, a lot of money to be made in these. And I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to control a bot. When I'm putting a transaction through, I've got to type in the numbers, I've got to go up to my MetaMask wallet, and I've got to type send or change the gas if I wanted to increase it to give it a quicker transaction speed. A bot's already beaten me and is probably running on really fast internet compared to me, so is going to beat me and is going to beat you. So never ever, in my advice, try to buy a token just after it launches, after pre-sale. At least give it time to settle before you buy back in, because there is usually a selling off, there's a dip, and then tokens that are good will start to rise up a bit. Exactly what we've seen in Money and Thetan Gem. I went up, came down, I bought on the dip of Thetan Gem at $700, and that's up to 1,300, so almost 2x on that. So it didn't throw any alarm bells off for me. But it did for some, and this guy was one of them, Dominic Lim. So I'm using this article because it's so good and so well researched. Dominic, if you have any issues with me putting this up in the video, let me know and I will cut it out of the video. But I'll put a link to this in the description below. I recommend going follow this guy because this guy clearly does his research on things. But he had originally put out an article on this whole issue, actually, saying that it was a big scam. But then after having done research, so called Money Heist, after doing his research, challenged his idea and put it under test, looked at evidence, and it breaks it down so well that I want to go through it with you. So because if I'm going into a project, Monster Infinite and being an ambassador for it, I don't want to keep seeing scam when it's not. It's just kind of like, well, you're just fudding other people. I don't mind if somebody says scam and then gives me some solid evidence, that's fine. But if you're going to say somebody bought so much and made $2 million of it and it was the devs, I want to see, you want to hear that, that wallet is tied to a dev, a known dev. And here's why. So, Monster Infinite's public sale time management caused an enormous uproar to the community that led to speculations and assumptions. These, after all, are natural reaction, especially when people can't get direct and legitimate information from the developers themselves. Now that all of their social media platforms have been open to the public, it's only fair to validate our claims and clear once and for all these suspicions to finally reveal what really transpired during the public sale. We all know how tremendous the support has been for the project, as from a community, and when some explainable circumstance occurred on the public sale, the amount of dissatisfaction spread like a COVID FUD variant. On top of that, it feels like we were put into a lockdown of an almost day-long silence from the developers. We trail all of what possibly happened to connect the dots, to feed our curiosity, and find the answer to our questions and explain everything. Hence, the Money Heist article was created. These are all big claims that were based on these questions. Why did the public sale start 10 minutes early from the supposed release time? What are these big early transactions that occurred at September the 16th? Who are the owners of these addresses we monitored during the early periods of the public sale? Are these dev wallets? Or even yet, are the wallet addresses connected with the devs to manipulate the money market price? Why are they still not opening their social media platforms? We made our own points regarding this, however, that's not entirely the truth, as we only covered our own version of the story, and we made allegations against them. It's only fair to validate them and explanation. Why did the public sale start 10 minutes early from the supposed release time? According to them, they started 10 minutes early to counter bots who are sniping tokens during token generation events and IDOs once the liquidity is released. However, one can argue that if that 10-minute time was allotted for that sole purpose, then there's no reason to move the release time to the time it was, as reflected on their announcement, since that 10 minutes are for bots. This could have prevented the community from panic buying. So imagine being in that 10 minutes, being notified 10 minutes early and knowing that it was going to be released at that time. If you were somebody who panic bought during that time, all the bots would have bought it because their transactions would have gone through faster because they're bots and they're quick. And then you would have bought Monster Infinite's token at its highest price at an all-time high of $11 per token. And then it would have come all the way down to its lowest, which was about $2 at time. Probably right after wasn't too severe, it was about $5. But you would have just lost 50% of your investment into that token. So not being notified will have benefited some people, but considering that we're talking about bots here, the devs most likely identified that 2 minutes is enough for all of these bots to perform all the transactions since they're all automatic, thus the announcement. Now, if we're going to follow their logic, this is actually a lot better scenario. Why is that? Because if people just start panic buying at this time, they would have propelled the price value that's already been pumped by bots, and they would end up buying less money tokens. So here's the price being pumped by bots at the first minute of release. And around this time, the token price reaches its all-time high, and then quick sell-offs, bringing the price down to around 2.7. So yeah, imagine buying it here and then just seeing it go down. That'd have been awful. But around 2 o'clock, we can see by that time it had reached its all-time high price. But before then, the bots had pumped it. So imagine that on top of that, it would have propelled the price even higher, which means if you'd bought at that point, you would have probably been looking at a lot worse than 50% losses, maybe 25%, 75% losses. Why are these big early transactions that occurred? What are they, and who is the owner address? Now everything is recorded on the blockchain and can be tracked, so we can see the wallet address that is associated with this. And is it tied to a dev? I mean, that's going to be pretty hard to figure out, but what's easier to figure out is are they tied to known snipe bots? So these transactions are probably the snipe bots that they're trying to compete with each other. As a matter of fact, the Monster Infinite team already proved that this specific address was indeed that of a famous snipe bot who has been spotting tokens for quite some time already. A simple Twitter search can reveal threads of discussions regarding this address and how it snipes IDOs and TGEs. So if you go through these, we can see that there's a thread here of whenever a new token it hits Uniswap, if this guy already on it, and he most likely will be, wait until he's done hammering it down. Those who got hit in Uniswap, get ready for a big whale. Get ready because a whale bought 667,000 KTN at $3. I watched this person wallet, and he's a master of pumping and dumping tokens on Uniswap. He'll start selling in batches and the price will fall. So this is the known address that is in multiple purchases in different swaps. So Uniswap is on the Ethereum side. But so if it's a known address that's done on things before and then we're seeing it happen again, it's a lot of evidence to suggest that this isn't a developer, it is a known bot trying to take advantage of it. There's also an article published by Katana on Medium for which they identify that address as a sniping bot that disrupts the organic flow of price in the market. However, this was never the address presumed to be the dev's wallet. It was the address where the snipe bot transferred a staggering $2 million, which is this address. Upon looking at this account, it was involved on several large transactions that make you wonder, who is the owner of this address? Is it really a dev's wallet? Or is it someone that the devs conspired with? Well, we all know that the address is a snipe bot, this as below, but this address is making transactions to different addresses, and that includes this address. So to be fair, let's check Monster Infinite's token allocation and distribution to see if this address matches one of it. So as you go through it and look at it in the marketing team, the staking, the game, the private sale, out of the 11 addresses, out of the address entries, it seems there is no match of this address to any token allocation affiliated to the Monster Infinite team. So within here, there is a token allocation to these individual areas, and none of them match that token address. So, you know, it's not, you can't 100% say it's not tied to a dev, but you can see that none of the devs that have their wallet addresses have got a wallet address in that matches this one that occurred. Out of the 11 address entries, yep, none of them match. There is also a list of transactions on Etherscan which this address was involved. Based from these 20 transactions, it looks like the oldest transaction made was around 506 days ago on April the 30th, 2020 at 10:13. Now, what's the meaning of this? Monster Infinite project was conceptualized only February 2021, and the transactions of this address tell us that the owner has been into crypto for a significant amount of time already. There's no way in a 10-month time difference can we attribute a possible connection, since in that period of time crypto games as hype as Axie Infinity were not even a thing. Apart from this, is the address is used for different snipe bots. Say like the hype of Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity was around that time, but wasn't as big a thing. Apart from this, the address is using snipe bots who's been manipulating the market of different IDOs and token generations. It's not just targeted Monster Infinite. So you could say for each of those projects, say, okay, well, it could still be a dev account, but yeah, but that dev would have to be involved in every single project that is ever sniped on. Which means, yeah, the address isn't just your ordinary crypto whale. Why does Monster Infinite team close and mute their social media and community platforms for almost a day? Well, if only Monster Infinite team clarifies what happened on public sale earlier than expected, maybe this whole mess is not as big as it is, but it's selfish judgment and opinion, because the fact that Monster Infinite did reach out to this guy without hesitation in order to explain why they are not open, provided this guy with several reasons. So they are receiving large amounts of spam messages containing fake websites and addresses that are not in any way affiliated to Monster Infinite. So they're having to deal with this and protect the community. If you mute your chat, it prevents these bots from spamming and potentially just picking up one person who goes, oh look, here's a link to buy at a cheap price, or here's a link for a special offer. And if they have that if we're aware that they're not communicating, we're not potentially going to come across these bots, or if we do, we're going to be aware that, well, this probably is a bot because they haven't opened up their channels officially. 2, to control the rampant panic due to the unforeseen circumstance that happened on public sale, they want to lessen the damage of negative feedback as much as possible. If you look at the video that I've produced on Monster Infinite and you read the chat comments, I have a very positive community. I have a very, very positive community that, generally look through my chat and it's filled with nothing but kind of positivity for coins, for the future of NFT gaming. If you look at that video, probably the most negative comments that I've seen that are just scam, FUD, can't believe you backed this project. How can you not see that there's a money heist? Imagine the damage all of that does unnecessarily. All of that, scam, this is a scam project, the dev stole 2 million, all that chat, just in my comments, people seeing that will start to panic and, potentially sell off the token, damaging where we've got to, which is to a really healthy market cap. And it doesn't give time for the evidence, the empirical evidence that says, this is what is actually going on. This is the evidence for it that tells me why my statements are true. So you've got to mute the chat sometimes to prevent FUD. They also wanted to consolidate an answer first to the speculation in the community and prepare evidence to discredit these speculations. So I also wanted to do this. I wanted to do research, and this was the best article that I found that did the research. And before giving an answer, because you want to, be able to present your best case. If you're going to present a case in a court of law, you get, potentially days, weeks to be able to do this, because it gives you the best prepared defense. So they wanted time to do this, and bear in mind, this is on top of them making partnerships, them, dealing with the launch of a token, them, responding to, I got an email from them, from the PR team, within the hour, detailing, what happens within marketing as an ambassador. They laid it out an hour after. So they're dealing with a lot of things. While they are handling the things they need to do in order to answer issues of public sale, at the same time they're busy monitoring the listing with 3 exchanges, PancakeSwap, Ascendex, and Gate.io. And they're also keeping track of IDO launchpads for token transparency. They handled several external DDoS attacks on the website that caused so much delay in their original time frame. So if you look at their bytes transferred to viewers, we can see a giant spike here, and average CPU utilization per hour, 2 DDoS attacks that have been going on. So burstables into the burstable zone. Considering with all that happened, I think it's only fair for them to have enough time to handle multiple things at once. It's no easy task. You can't just start a project and expect problems along the way to resolve on their own. They have to move, and they need to move to provide solutions. Some of us made outrageous statements and accused them of things that are apparently innocent, to the extent that words such as they already counting their own profits, scam, rug pull, and other negative things are thrown into them. Well, these are just normal reactions of disappointments and frustrations. I'm not defending the initial assumptions and speculations, as those statements from Money Heist are a product of curiosity, doubt, and suspicion, trying to explain the unfortunate events that transpired in the public sale, and even though that was not the real case, this guy says he stands corrected. Evidence shows that it's not them who made this market manipulation, and refusing to believe this truth is unreasonable and ignorant. If they wanted, they could have just completely rug pulled and made a quick $712, $1,000, $1 million, sorry. Huge amount. If it was a rug pull, that's what happens in a rug pull, guys. You remove liquidity. And if you're gonna, by the way, if you're gonna scam people, don't show your face. Don't go into AMAs, ask me anything, and show your face, because then people have got a face to be able to target. If you steal $1 million from me, I'm gonna do my best to track you down, and I'm gonna try and get justice. So don't show your face. But these guys are transparent. They open up. In the AMA that he did with Dexter Plays PH, the guy was like, ask me anything, like literally challenge me. I want to be challenged. And if you see like the offers they're working in, they're saying like these guys are working hard, putting in a lot of work. I've not seen a project work as hard in terms of marketing, in terms of designing for marketing, just detailing individual infographics and thumbnails. Like they work solid, and I just know that during this whole thing they will probably be working long hours, sleep in the office potentially. So this Money Heist, as it turns out, is a big demonstration of how committed devs in providing a profitable and long-term project. There is no intention of rug pull or nor scam, because if they did, I guess they would have already embezzled the amount of money they collected on pre-sale too, but instead they gave us reasons to trust them even further. As for me, I'm just here, observing, discovering, watching, scrutinizing and writing as Monster Infinite team tries to achieve and materialize the promise that they've made to the community, in which they want to develop a long-term viable project and carry out their vision of a universal basic income. For all those who stayed and I believe on Monster Infinite, Avengers, assemble. Great article, really good article. Thank you, Dominic, for putting it together. It just goes to show that you gotta wait. You gotta do your research around things. Try not to hold off. Try not to panic. That's what FUDders want you to do. They want you to panic so that you sell your token off so that they can buy cheaper. You can see a sell order. There's 158. I sold that just to get what was I buying? I needed it for another project. I didn't sell it. I sold at the worst time. if I was taking advantage of FUD, I would have sold here, not here. I needed to be buying here, but like I sold here. What was it that I wanted it for? There was a project that I needed money for. But yeah, FUDders want you to panic, want to buy back cheap, and then wait for it to come back up to rise, and then sell again. So don't allow them to panic you when you see something like that. Scam, rug pull. Just have a look for evidence around you. See whether there is anything that is fact before you panic. And so I will continue to be a Monster Infinite ambassador, and I will continue to put out updates on this game because I'm so excited for it. I think it's got so much potential, and I'm really looking forward to building a big community on Monster Infinite around this, and hopefully you guys are going to come along with me. Okay, well that's all for this one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like on the video, hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future information. That is all from me. Okay, that's all for this one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please enjoy the video. Okay, well that's all for this one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like on the video. It always helps the channel out. Hit subscribe to keep up to date with future content. That's all from me. See you guys soon.